What is up, everyone? This is Hayden Games here back with another video, and this is my third time trying to record this intro for the video. The first time I was just, for the most of the video I was just saying like, "Oh, this part is good, this part is good." Second time, my file or the first half of this video of audio file got corrupted, or I don't know what really happened to it, but it just didn't save for some reason. So this is my third time trying to record this video. I got the latter half recorded, which is to do with the story portion of the review. But today we are going to be reviewing the Guardians of the Galaxy Square Enix games. So I know I don't want to say all this video like, oh, this part is good, this part is good, but I'm just going to say off the bat, I really enjoyed this game. It was really well done. I do get into why it is good outside just saying it's good. So let's get straight into it, starting with the graphics. So the graphics of this game, I mean, the graphics obviously don't make the game. Like, you have games like Minecraft, Undertale, and all that, which don't have the best graphics in the world, but they're still really good. I would say the graphics of this game, though, with the usual like 4K, 60 FPS, it's a pretty generic base sort of graphics style that you would normally expect nowadays. So not too much to really say on that, other than just it's got the standard sort of stuff. In terms of the textures, though, I wouldn't say they're straight up realistic looking textures, but they're still really good looking textures for a game like this, and they work quite well. So that's all I got to really say in terms of graphics, though. In terms of the gameplay, we're going to start off with the combat. I think the combat is interesting. It's not my favorite part of this game, honestly. It feels a little bit weird in terms of, it's probably because I'm just not used to the style of gameplay when it comes to the combat, and I think it's good, but it's weird. I wouldn't say it's not honestly not that great, to be honest. So probably my least favorite part of this game. So that's what I've got in terms of the actual combat. And I do want to quickly touch on upon the cosmetics just before we get into the puzzles. So the cosmetics of this game is pretty interesting, or pretty good when it comes to the like these suits. Like, it's suits you would kind of expect, but also not really. Like, so I would say that this alternate skin suits just seem a little bit generic. But I'd say they're pretty fine. They're pretty fine. Now, in terms of the puzzles, I actually found this pretty cool for a game like this. 'Cause, yeah, I get to use the like your teammates to, or you have a guardians to help you solve puzzles and stuff. I think that's actually a pretty cool concept. So I actually quite enjoyed the puzzle element when it came to this game. So it's a pretty good thing for me. Actually, I did forget to rate some of these other parts of my review. So graphics, well, is obvious. I'd say they're about 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. They're pretty standard for what you would expect from most games nowadays. For the combat, pretty like 5, 6 out of 10. Like, again, it's not my favorite part of the game, honestly. As for these puzzles, I think they're pretty interesting. I'll say they're about an 8 out of 10. Like, trying to solve your way through some situations, I think that's quite interesting and quite cool. So I said that multiple times now, so I'm already doing it again. Sorry, but yeah. So puzzles, again, pretty cool. 8 out of 10. Now for the story. So this will be the spoiler part of the review. So if you have not played this game and you're wanting to experience it before and not get spoiled, then make sure to leave the video now. Come back later when you've beaten the game. Well, I say beaten the game, but you've played it. Once you've experienced the game, then yeah, come back and so you can hear my opinion on the story. So let's get into that right now. Like, if you first start off with the Guardians just like trying to make a living when it comes to actually being Guardians of the Galaxy, because they have not too much money is probably the best way of putting it, and they rely on illegal ways to get stuff done and or to pay basically pay the bills in a sense. So obviously not the best way of doing it, but that's just them. So it's just basically the day in the life of them struggling to get through that. So at least that's what it was at the start of the game. Then we eventually get arrested by the Nova Corps, and we do run into a young recruit, I think. I don't know what rank she was exactly, but called Nikki. And Nikki was an interesting character. I did like her at the start. She was a pretty good character to start off with. And also the decision making of this game when it comes to the story was also really cool to see as well. So, because it was actually quite a creative idea to have a choice-based game for the Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought that was pretty interesting. But anyway, back to the story. So the technically I should probably tie that into gameplay, but that again, I've already tried to record this once and I'm already making the same mistakes. So for the story, carrying on from the Nikki part, so eventually we did settle things with Nova Corps, and we had to basically try and pay back the fine that we had to get for breaching the I forgot, the quarantine zone. That's what it was. I almost blanked on it. So we obviously going to the quarantine zone at the start to just get paid. We did have to get a fine on top of our already bad situation. So we had to work on that, and eventually led to us meeting Lady Hellbender, which that was a mess up. We basically robbed her of her units from selling Groot only to get. Well, it could have been Rocket, but I chose Groot, and basically getting him back to then. Yeah. So after that, okay, I'm not going to drag out too long when it comes to the story, so I'm just going to get straight to it. So we had to eventually run into. I'm going to cut some major parts out here, but we eventually ended up with some. We saw matriarch stuff when it comes to, because they were able to like mind control people for some reason. I know I'm sounding dumb, but if I had more time and I didn't want to make this as long, if I wanted to make this longer, I could have gone in more detail, but I don't want to make this massively long just discussing the story. So we'll just skip some parts here and there. So we had the matriarch stuff, and we had to eventually follow with the matriarch to get to Nikki, because, long story short, Nova Corps went into the quarantine zone after we left, and Nikki got basically controlled by the matriarch, and we had to go to the matriarch, or little do we know it was actually her, but we did have to go into that to try and save her. And then we ended up in basically what they call Promise, where each of the Guardians ended up in a Promise dream memory sort of thing, and we had to free ourselves from ours, being Peter's. And Drax did eventually fall for that, but which we did free him later on. And then we had to eventually find Adam Warlock, which at the time of playing this game, I actually didn't know who Warlock was. I know he was like some kind of like majorly god entity, but that was pretty much all I knew. I know a bit more about him now. And yeah, we basically had to get him to try and contain the Magus, which was what basically took control of Nikki, basically. And then when we eventually defeated frick, what was his name? The main matriarch lead that after the Nikki, and he was technically her assistant when she was mind controlled, but screwing on his name. I can't remember his name, but so we had to defeat him, and then Warlock had to contain the Magus, which was what the main cause of all the matriarch stuff. Only to then, as you can see in the final boss fight here, he did end up getting controlled by Magus and being possessed by him. And also, honestly, this ending for the game was really, really well done. It honestly got me emotional. But also, in this scene in particular, the music, final countdown, of course, if you were streaming that, you wouldn't be able to hear that because of copyright. But if you played it on the non-streamer mode, the music for this final scene was absolute perfection. It worked so well. And just the final clash of Star-Lord with the Soul Stone absorbing Magus, what was so like emotionally driven and just an overall intense and amazing final moment in the game. Obviously, not all games had to be story driven, so I know this was a major part of the video where story in most games don't like. If you some people aren't really too much of a fan of story. I do get that, but in this game, I felt like they did the story really, really well done. It was emotionally driven, and yeah. So that is pretty much where I'm going to wrap up this review on Guardians of the Galaxy. I know some parts were dragged on, some parts were a bit scaled down, but I also didn't want to go make half of this video about the story, which I probably end up will still being that. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed this video or this review on Guardians of the Galaxy. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. Let me know what you thought of this game as well. And yeah, I will see you in the next video or live stream. Goodbye. Also, don't forget to put my rating. I would say overall this game is about a 9 out of 10. Really well done. Okay, bye.